This is awesome. Let's go do a walkthrough on a house that we decided not to do a loan on, and I'll explain why. First, we're gonna walk through and I'll explain all the issues with the house. A lot of overgrown bushes and shrubs. They started demoing the house out, and in the demo pile can tell you a lot about what you're about to see inside the house. There's a lot of cat stuff in here, which equals a lot of stinky inside. All this stuff's gonna have to be cut back, but I think this is a feature. Like, that's pretty cool. I can smell the cat when I get to right here. Actually, let's back up and we're gonna look at the roof real quick, because one thing I noticed, it does have a new roof. They chose green, which is never a good choice. The roof boot right over here, they actually put the roof boot underneath the shingles, which tells me that they did not use a legit roofing crew. Or if they did, they got ripped off a little bit, because that boot will eventually leak the way they installed it. As soon as I hit the front door, I noticed that the demo crew did not take out this kind of chip wood that ends up underneath, like carpet and laminate. This stuff provides no structure. It basically just gets destroyed as soon as it gets wet. It typically needs to come all the way out to get back down to the subfloor. And I've already walked through, so I've got another surprise about the subfloor here in a second. Kitchen is demoed. So typically what you'd see happen for a flip is they're gonna tear this wall out and open this up into here, which is great. Like, that would be fantastic. We'll walk out on the back deck in a minute. Like I was saying about water, that's exactly what happens to this kind of board, chipboard wood under here. In this room, we've got a little bit of the fake paneling that would be replaced fairly easily. Right here, you can see what happens to the chipwood. And then I get down to the subfloor. Yes, I'm wearing my inspection Crocs. And then in the bathroom right here, I can see that it is very thin. So this may be 7/16, which is not thick enough to actually use as subfloor. So technically, all this would need to come out, and then they would have to add another layer on top of it, which is expensive and a pain in the butt. Condition of this tells me that it's likely that the HVAC unit is probably going to be in need of, at the very least, some major service. We just came out of the one bathroom space, and that is a big part of why we probably won't lend on this house, is their intention is not to add a bath, and all the competition comps for what they sent me have an additional bathroom. Honestly, up here is not horrible. I mean, I know that there's a lot of work that needs to be done, but it's like very doable. It's a clean palette, which is nice. Let's go in the basement. His intention is to finish out this basement. Part of this problem is these stairs can't really be, they're too steep. They don't meet code by a lot. And they're not gonna be able to be expanded, because otherwise you'd have to cut like deep into basically this dining room space up here, or you'd have to extend these further out here, or you'd have to figure some way to turn them, and you can't. There's just not enough headroom. Speaking of headroom, if they're gonna keep the drop ceiling, that also doesn't work down here. They've already started doing some, looks like dry lock, which is basically telling me that there is leaking issues inside of here. They do have enough headspace if he's willing to take this out and he's willing to add a bathroom down here and then like actually spend the money to turn this into some really great space. I think this could work, because you've technically got egress over here, so you could add, you know, a bedroom down here and maybe a den with a nice bathroom. But laundry is also out here. It's down in the garage side, so they'd want to add laundry back as well. You're just getting into a lot of plumbing stuff, and we're on a slab, concrete slab, so the concrete slab technically has to get cut to add your plumbing lines. I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place. These are just random thoughts as I'm going through. So this was a 2-car garage. They had basically converted one part of this before. Here's your laundry. So this is not appealing, like having laundry down here. Now, if this was a finished space where you had decent access, so the stairs weren't crazy steep, probably would be a little bit better. But in his calculations, he's basically calculating this out, that this all becomes finished living space, and then is comping with houses that have 2-story above ground. A little bit of mold right there tells me leakage. See the animal damage right here. They're leaving animals locked inside of different spaces in the house. That's why all this insulation's gone. Back here is another reason. This back deck, they've got a sign asking you not to go out to walk on the deck, which I assume means that structurally they're concerned about the integrity of it. These little 4x4 posts back here would probably need to be increased to 6x6s, and then you can beef up this header. But I mean, honestly, I'd be curious to see how it would feel walking on it. Then you've got this kind of just real creepy space where they clearly stored animals. And when I mean clearly stored animals, what I mean is all the animals in the world. Cat people. You just got a lot of cleanup in the backyard to do here. So they probably got another 2 dumpsters worth of stuff. And it'd be more efficient to actually bring a skid steer in here with a grapple on the front. So basically like a big claw that can grab all this stuff, chunk it up into little small pieces and throw it in the dumpster. And then you come in here, mow all this down, and you have a pretty nice little backyard. The problem is I just don't think I could not do this for the rehab budget. They're saying $60K, but I don't think I could do it for 60. Like, especially not and finish the entire basement and add a bathroom. I could do $60K on the top floor. Let's go see if we can find the HVAC unit. That's one of the last parts of the system. Because these houses aren't that old, a lot of the systems are relatively new, easier to work with than a house that's, you know, built in the 20s. So overall, the reason this person got such a good deal on this is because the other people that lived here before obviously trashed it with all the animals that they have. You can't smell it, but the inside of the house smells horrible. And it would have smelled significantly worse had they not already gotten out all this stuff. I'm gonna get some sort of bug disease. Okay, I can't even get by that way. The neighbors on both sides put visual barrier screens up on the backyard. That's how you know you're a good neighbor, when your neighbors are like, listen, I don't want to look at your shit. Stinky Pinky, by the way, which is the name of this dumpster company, is one of the best dumpster company names I've ever seen. This is how I knew. That's how I knew. We were in for a disaster. What I'm looking for is HVAC unit. Oh, by the way, it does have replacement windows, and it does have a new roof. And hey, it does have a relatively new Goodman unit. This may change things. I'm gonna find out how much money dude has to put down, because if he's got enough money to put down that he's got some reserves, we may be able to do this. All the systems are easy to work on because they've got a full basement, new roof, new HVAC unit, new windows. We may be changing our mind, maybe after coming and looking. All right, to be continued. This one may be one where we go ahead and jump in, and then I make a why we regret making this loan video 6 months from now. We'll see. If you're interested in the Nashville Money Guys potentially funding your next project, look us up, NashvilleMoneyGuys.com. We would love to work with you. I'm Brandon McDonald. Thanks for watching.